Hey guys, so today we're going to talk about dividing decimals by decimals. So it's just going to be one more level to what you did yesterday. Now, one thing that I didn't mention, but that your book in class will be talking about, is how sometimes they're not at a point where they want you to see if the number goes on or if it terminates after a certain while. So they'll sometimes just tell you to round your answer to the nearest tenth, or if it's money, to the nearest hundredth. So be aware that that could be part of the direction set, and you definitely will be practicing that in class today. All right, so we're going to be launching into lesson 3-8, which is, it's titled in the book, Divide Decimals by Decimals. Sorry, sometimes the top of my paper gets in the way here. All right, and today's date is going to be 9/20/18. Okay, so what kind of problem are we talking about? We're talking about one that looks like this. 54.4 divided by 1.7. So 54 4/10 divided by 1 7/10. So just like we talked about yesterday, in order to solve this problem, we have to first set it up properly. So we're going to rewrite the problem using the division house. Okay, so this would now become 1.7 dividing into 54.4. Now, if you recall in the notes from yesterday, I said specifically, you cannot divide by decimals. So guess what? We have to deal with that today. So we're going to write it again. You, and then I'm going to yell at you a little bit. Cannot divide by decimals. In other words, your divisor cannot have a decimal in it. It's okay for your dividend to have one, but your divisor can't have one. So we're going to have to figure out a system how to remove the decimal from the divisor. But I know what you guys think about life. It's got to be fair, and if I treat one number in a division problem one way, then I got to treat the other number the same way. So in order to keep the 1 and the 7, 1 and 7, but to move the decimal point, we're going to do a little multiplication, and we're going to multiply by some power of 10. So that's right. I'm going to change because it's here. So we're going to multiply the divisor by a power of 10. And what I mean by that is I could multiply by 10, that's 10 to the first power, 100, that's 10 to the second power, 1,000, that's 10 to the third power, and so on. Now, how do I know which one to choose? Let me continue this thought. We're going to multiply the divisor by a power of 10 that moves the decimal point to the right creating a whole number. Okay, so you can think about it this way. I need to move that decimal point in 1.7 one place to the right. That's how many zeros my power of 10 will have. One place, 1 0, 10. Two places, 2 zeros, 100. 3 places, 3 zeros, 1,000. Okay? That's the correlation. How many places represents how many zeros in my power of 10. Okay? Now, remember I talked about being fair. So once I've multiplied the divisor by some power of 10, I'm going to multiply the dividend the same number of places, or by the same value. Multiply the dividend by the same power of 10. So if I multiply my divisor by 10, I got to multiply my dividend by 10. I multiply my divisor by 100, I got to multiply my dividend by 100. As the divisor. Fair is fair. That's all we're going to worry about being here is fair. Now, that does not always mean that I'm going to be moving the decimal point for both the divisor and the dividend to the end. Sometimes it goes beyond a number in the dividend. Sometimes we have to fill in with a 0. And sometimes it stops in the middle of a number. That's okay. That's just what it is. Okay? So in our example, I need to move the decimal point one place. Okay? So that means I'm going to multiply by the power of 10 with 1 0. So if I multiply by 10, it moves the decimal point to the end. And now I have the number 17. So now I have to multiply by 10, the 54.4, which moves the decimal point one place. So the problem now becomes 17 dividing into 544. Okay? All right. We need to continue to the next screen. So come and join me. So our third step is, now it's going to look exactly like what we did yesterday. We're going to bring the decimal point straight up from the new location of the dividend into the quotient. Always do that setup first. People who want to do it at the end, forget about it, okay? And now we start dividing. So again, at this point, it all sounds exactly like what we did before. Start dividing. Let's see. Let's go this color. Oh, no, let's go to this color, sorry. And then last but not least, you can check for reasonableness. And an easy way to do that is our old friend, Mr. Estimation. Estimate. Okay, so let's look at that same problem that we've been working on. That 1.7 that was dividing into 54.4. Oops, almost wrote a 5 there. We're going to multiply by a power of 10. I'll move the decimal point over once. We're going to treat the dividend the same way. So we're actually going to solve this problem, 17 divided into 54, or 544. The decimal point is at the end. So it comes up. And then I go through the process. Let's see, 17 goes into 54. I believe it's going to be 3. Yep, 51. So 3 goes above the 4. That's the first 4, because 17 can go into 54. And that gives me 51. That gives me 3 left over. That's smaller than my divisor. I bring down the 4, and 17 goes into 34 exactly twice. Now, oops, sorry. Not all the problems that we're going to work on are going to terminate as neatly and easily as this one. Okay? So we're going to do just a couple practice problems. And what you're going to see in your homework is there's going to be a bunch of zeros hanging out all over the place. I don't know why they gave you so many zeros, but they do. So we just have to kind of hang out and figure it out. So, by the way, box up. Your answer is just 32. All right, let's go to the next page. And we will be doing 4 different examples. The directions are just going to say divide. Now, again, notice I'm not saying anything more, though I did notice in your book the directions sometimes did ask you to round to a certain place value. So just read directions always very carefully. So we have 2 64/100ths, and we want to divide it by 6/10. So job 1 is to rewrite this under the division symbol. So that's going to give us 0.6 dividing into 2.64. Okay, so what I notice is I need to move the decimal point 1 spot. That means 1 0. And I'm going to do it in both numbers. So my problem really now has become 6 dividing into 26.4. So remember I said sometimes when I move the decimal point, it still exists in the middle of the number. Bring it straight up and start dividing. It's a lot easier to divide by single digits, isn't it? So 6 can go into 26 4 times, which is 24, with a difference of 2. And then we're going to bring down the next digit and start the process again. And 6 can go into 24 4 times evenly. So we terminate, and the solution we get, I'm going to write it a little bit more neatly, is 4 4/10. Okay? Second problem. We have 63 10,000ths divided by, oh my goodness, 7 thousandths. Job 1, we're going to rearrange it using the division house. 007. This time, notice I didn't put the 0 in front because it really doesn't matter. A 0 in front of a decimal point means literally nothing. So I'm going to drop it off of this one too. 0063. But, this time I need the decimal point to move over 1, 2, 3 spots. So that means a power of 10 with 3 zeros. So I'm going to multiply by 1,000. 1, 2, 3. And then do the same thing to the dividend. Multiply by 1,000. 1, 2, 3. And why does it move to the right? When you multiply, you get more. And why does the number not change? Because the number that's part of the power of 10 is 1. So there we are. So what's my actual problem? 7 dividing into 6.3. Bring the decimal point up into the answer and start dividing. 7 can't go into 6, so we can put a 0, and 7 can go into 63 exactly 9 times. That was an easy problem. Wow. All right, there we go. My answer is 9/10. Okay, good. Let's try another one. Number 3. So we've got 0.009 or 9 thousandths, and we want to divide it by 0.18 or 1800ths. Job 1, switch it around. So we get 0.18. I'm going to drop off those extra zeros, and I'm going to divide it into 0.009. Job 1, I cannot have a divisor that has a decimal. I need to move it over 2 spots to make 1800ths become 18. So that means I'm going to multiply by the power of 10 with 2 zeros, which would be 100. So that's going to move it over twice. I'm going to do the same thing over here. It's going to move the decimal over twice. So what am I really going to do? I'm really going to divide 18 into 0.9. So bring the decimal point up. And now, wow, this one's a little interesting. How many times can 18 go into 9? And the answer is, it can't. So guess what we do when it can't go in? You got it. You got to put a 0 above that 9. Once I put a guess up in the quotient, technically you would have 0 here, you would subtract, and you would have 9. Now, I need to bring down a number. Remember old Mr. Annex? Yep, we're going to annex a 0, and we're going to bring him down. Oh, man. Guess what? If I multiply 18 by 5, we get 90. So my guess is going to be a 5. I get 90, and it terminates. So my answer works out to be 5/100. Okay? Pretty quick and cool. All right, let's do one more. I think I can squeeze it in over here. That's pretty rude of me, but I'm going to do it anyway. We're going to take 6 and 24/100, and we're going to divide it by 200. So we're going to go ahead and flip it around. 200 divides into 6.24. Do you see what's different about this problem? Look at the divisor. Do I need to multiply by anything to make it a whole number? No, it already is one. So all I need to do is bring up the decimal point into the quotient and start my dividing process. So now I have to figure out how many times 200 can go in. First off, what in? Can't go into 6, can't go into 62. Ooh, but it could go into 624. And I know 2 goes into 6 3 times. So the first place I can write a digit would be over the 4. So this is where the 3 would go. But there's a blank spot between the decimal point and the 3. So guess what goes there? Yep, 0. So we go ahead and we multiply out, and we get 200 times 3 is 600. So we subtract, and we end up getting 24. So guess what we're going to do? We're going to annex a 0. Whoop. And then we're going to bring him down. Come on. Doot, doot. How many times can 200 go into 240? Once. So 200 goes into 240 once, which is 200. We subtract, and we get a difference of 4. Guess what we're going to do now? You got it. We're going to annex another 0, which means I'm going to have to extend my division house here. I'm going to bring that 0 down, and now I have 400. How many times can 200 go into 400? Well, I know 2 goes into 4 twice, so that's my guess. And 200 times 2 is 400, and the difference of 0. So, wow, that was a lot of dividing. We snuck that one in there. So my answer is 312 10 thousandths. All right, good luck with tonight.